MODMAN here, and welcome back to the workshop. Today's episode is all about flushing the flow and utilising the DI water that comes from the flow, but also the RO water that comes from the flow. Let's get into it. So I'm in my backyard at the moment flushing the flow. So when flushing the flow, you can do a couple of different things here. Now you can obviously water the garden with the wastewater, which is what I've done here with the sprinkler on. What happens here is water comes in, it goes through the filters here, pre-filters, through the RO, because that's what we're flushing. That's the idea of going through the RO, because we're flushing all the crap out, and then it goes straight out onto the garden. Now that's full of minerals, so that's great for watering the garden or maybe washing your car. I'll even capture it and put it in my rainwater tank, not for drinking or anything, but just for flushing my loo. I'll show you that now. Okay, so I've got a men's urinal at the back here, at the back of my house, as you can see there. So in the back here, I've got my little urinal here. So I will also use the the flush water to fill up this water barrel here, which then I use to flush my men's urinal out the back there. All right, so back to the point at issue here. Now, what have I got going on here? Now I'll just explain this to you. Now, as it flushes through, you don't, because you're just using flush water here, there is no point, unless you're going to capture it, putting it through the DI. Now if you are going to capture it, hook this up, leave it hooked up, and you will go through the DI and you will come out of the pure water, and then you can capture it into a barrel. Then you're constantly filling up the barrel here with pure water. That's fine. If you're not going to do that, disconnect the pure water, disconnect the resin. You don't need to be using the resin if you're just going to flush it out to the garden. If this is just going to go to waste, if this is going to sit over there and go to waste, there's no point it going through your resin. You're just going to waste your resin. Okay, so disconnect it, disconnect your resin. There is no point that even being live if you're not going to use it. Now if you are going to use it, okay, let's have a look at if you are going to use it. Let's disconnect this. This is a little contraption I have just put together, not just put together, but I've put together. This just sits in here. Now this goes back into the DI. Now what's happening is, as it goes through the system, you always have to keep a little bit of opening for the DI, for the pure water. Pure water always has to be open a little bit. Okay, I've been taught these little lessons by friends of mine, Hardy and Pete. They've taught me these little lessons. Now, that has to be open a little bit. So you're going to capture a little bit of pure water. All right, so, okay, you can capture that. That's going to be, you know, 1 parts per million, 2 parts per million, whatever it is coming out of pure. So you can capture that if you've got it plugged in. No point pure water at, you know, 000 parts per million going on the grass. Okay, so you may as well capture that. Okay, so that's good, and you can refill your barrels while you're flushing. Refill your barrels, perfect. If you're not going to do that, if you've already got your barrels filled, if you've already got your buffer tank filled, and this is just going to go to waste, unplug it, take that out, get your little device here, or simply just pour that over there and let it collect in there. I've just made this up out of little push fits, and that just sits on there. It just means it directs better into that barrel. Now I'm capturing RO water here. This can just go on the garden, or it can go. We can reflush with this. You're better off reflushing with this than with the tap water that's coming out at 500. I'm flushing this at the moment with 500 water, which is not great. So I'm better off capturing RO water, running that through a pump and flushing with this water. So capture it, it's perfect. But what this does is it saves you going through the resin. You don't need to go through the resin if you're just going to flush. Okay, so now I've filled that barrel up with just RO water. I'll be using that for certain things. Now Tom, my son, he needs his barrels filled up. So while I am flushing my system, I'm also going to fill up the barrels with DI water, with pure water. So that will now complete the system and come through and out there, and it will fill this tank with pure water now also. And I will go and get the other barrels. I'll have 3 or 4 barrels lined up here, and rather than just waste this water out on the garden, I will I'll collect that, and that's good for my barrel system, mine and Tom's barrel system. Okay, so now the other thing I might just show you here on this flow system that I have here, Pete and I built this. Now the differences you might see here is it has an on and off right here. That still works. I can shut the system down just by turning it off. In most cases I just leave it on. What you'll notice here is these 2 switches are missing. They're no longer in commission. They've been decommissioned. All I have for flush and production is this little switch here. All I have to do is, at the moment it's on flush because I've got the system on flush. If I want to turn this to production, all I do is turn that like that. That is now on production. It is a 1 switch operation, 1 lever operation. Now the whole system is going through production. If I turn this little switch here now to flush, I'll do that now, and you watch the sprinkler turn on. Okay, now it's straight back to flush again. It is a 1 switch operation. So it's flush, production. And I can alter the amount of production and flush I have just by altering where this sits in position, where this position is here. Now I can just back it off a little bit, and then I press. You're probably wondering what this is here, sitting here. This is a remote control switch. Then all I do then is I press the on button, it turns the pump on, and that means I can have more going to waste, which means I have less stress on the membranes. Because remember, here in Perth we've got between 400 and 500 coming out of the taps at all times, so we need to have more going to waste. If we're going to keep some healthy membranes, we have to have more going to waste. So you have to have this backed off a little bit in production mode and turn on your pump. I'm just going to put it back to flush because that's what I'm doing at the moment, is I'm flushing. But I just thought I'd, while I was talking about the flow, just thought I'd show you that little setup there. Okay, now as you can see by that switch there, I'm in flush mode. I've got it running through the DI because I want to fill the barrels up. This one's just about full. The sprinkler I've moved over to there, so it's gone around the garden a little bit, and the first tank is full. As you can see, she's overflowing, so I will now move this DI water. As you can see, I'm flushing over there, so the flush water is going there. The DI water is not going to waste. It's filling up my barrels while I'm flushing. Now I'll just show you what this water has come out at. Okay, as you can see there, 000. I hope you can see that. Oh, it just turned it off, so I'll turn it back on again. Now I'll put that in there, and let's have a look. I'm not sure if you can see what's going on there, but it says 01. If you can't see it, it says 01. 001. Okay, so that's really good pure water while I'm flushing the system. So don't waste, the point of this video, do not waste your pure water coming out. Okay, so that's the point of this video. This is running through a flow. This is the system I have. I'm happy with it. Alright, well there's Tom's barrels all ready to go. He's got 6 barrels in there, roughly 100, between 100 and 120 litres. in there. He's got the portable setup going on here. He'll just pull this out, whack a barrel on there if he wants it portable, and off he goes. If he doesn't want it portable, if he just wants to run out of the van, just pushes that in like this, push that in like that, grab the hose here, pop it straight into one of those barrels, run his reels out, and away he goes. Then he can be ute mounted or van mount or portable. It's up to him. He's got his all his pads here to go. He's got his reload and his brushes there. He's got his trad 4 sitting in the back there, so he's all ready to go. So that's 2 vehicles with the one flow at the moment. Tom's got his flow getting organised at the moment, so once we get his flow sorted out, he'll be running off a flow as well. So there you go, folks. Hope that's helped you guys with flushing your flow and how to utilise the flush water to your advantage. Stay tuned. Please like and subscribe. The next episode will be all about how to use the flush water to clean screens. This is MODMAN. Give that a go. Hooroo.